Objection handling, one of the key skills within a sales conversation. And how do you do so without sounding pushy? To tackle this big issue, I've brought in the absolute goat of sales in Kevin Frazier. How are you, mate?
Mate, absolutely fantastic. Great to be back.
Mate, I'm really looking forward to today because it's such an important skill within the sales world. Let's talk about sales objections and why it is important to develop this skill of handling and navigating them.
Look, I think most people will come into a sales conversation with a negative kind of connotation. So a lot of people, a lot of your leads will come in, and whether they acknowledge it or not, they'll be thinking, oh, this guy's just going to try and sell me something. So my walls are up already. We've all kind of experienced this. You know, we've felt the vibe of people, and it's like, oh, okay, I can see what's going to come here. This guy's just, he's going to try and sell me, and I'm going to be ready for him. So then it automatically becomes a little bit of, whatever you're going to say, I'm going to have some
They're
reason.
cynical, aren't they? They've got a wall up. They can be a little cynical.
And I get it from a perspective of, okay, you know what? I need to be a little bit skeptical so I know I'm not going to get ripped off.
Yeah, I understand that as well.
Yeah.
And so if we don't have the ability to navigate, pre-handle, but then also handle the objections, then the prospect remains cynical and we lose the opportunity to serve and help them. So that's probably not the number one reason. The number two reason is, what do a lot of people do when they get an objection? I'd say they'll do one of two things. Number one is they'll just take it on the chin and go, that's okay. And
they'll accept it.
They'll accept it and they lose the sale. The second thing they'll do is they may act in desperation. And what do they do in desperation?
Oh, you're going to discount, or you're going to offer them something which you don't want to do.
Yeah,
and then you hit that race to the bottom.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
Depending on what it is, you don't want to be that guy who compromises, your principles and things like that just to appease someone.
Yeah.
You don't want to be that person.
You do not want to be that. We want to elevate ourselves within that sales conversation. We want to make sure that we're selling because we're solving a problem, we're delivering value. We're not doing it because we've given a ridiculous guarantee or a crazy discount because we didn't know how to handle the objection in the first place.
Yep.
So they're the two main reasons that we want to become an absolute Jedi, a ninja in objection handling. Let's just do a quick recap. I know most of our listeners will know the objections out there, but let's just do a quick recap. There's four main objections, and what can they mean? So what are a couple of those objections that
a couple of those objections, the primary one is, look, I'd have to think about it.
Yeah. Now, the I think about it is an interesting one, right? Because it's not an objection per se, because there's not a money or a time or a partner, which are the other three, but it's this big, vague, I need to think about it. So when you hear that, Kev, what do you think the objection is really saying?
Well, the objection, so to be quite honest, is they don't feel very comfortable, like in the conversation at the moment, and they're trying to put you off.
I also believe that it actually shows a lack of trust and belief not in you, or it's not maybe only in you, it can also be in the mechanism that you're trying to sell. So you may have, a hybrid strength training protocol, for example. They might not believe in the mechanism, or they might not believe in you and itself. So there's just they're not there yet.
Yeah. So in a lot of cases, you just haven't explained well enough, how you can help them. So they don't feel comfortable. And it comes back to that saying, like, they don't believe you, but they also don't believe in you as well. So at this point, they don't believe you can help them. And most people, try and be nice. They don't just say, look, you know what? Very few people are going to say, I actually don't like your product. I don't feel comfortable with you, so I'm going to end it there. That's a hard thing to say.
Well, that's why we need to know what is below the objection itself. And that's why I asked you, because the I need to think about it can be vague, right? But I think it does point towards either I don't believe in you or I don't believe in the mechanism. I believe it's one of those two things, and it's our job through asking the right questions to uncover which one of those it is.
And you're exactly right at that point as well. This is where we want to go a little bit deeper. We want to ask, why? What is it specifically that you don't feel comfortable with, or what is it specifically that you don't understand? Where can I, explain a little bit more?
Yeah. Now, I said the other three really quickly.
Yep.
I said price, money. What can when they bring up money, what can that often point to?
Well, it also can point to, I don't see value in this.
Yeah, agreed. They
That's
don't see.
probably the number one thing.
Partner?
The partner, well, we want to find out, is their partner on board with this? Do they have support? So again, it's another way for them to say, you know what, I've got to check with my partner. This is sort of putting it off to the side a little bit. I'll come back to you. My question to that would be, does your partner know that, you're looking at making a change to your health and fitness?
Yeah.
Yeah, they do. Okay. Would she support you in making this decision? Would your partner support you in this? And this is where we're asking those couple of extra questions.
Yes. Yeah.
And it's all about going a little bit deeper, asking those extra questions specifically, as opposed to just go, oh, okay, yeah, I understand you have to, check with your partner, let's follow up or check in a couple of days. That's not going to happen.
That's not going to work, is it? And I want to get really specific on the objections that we get and then how to navigate them and handle them. But that's absolute gold right there for the partner. And then, of course, we have time as well. And so have we established that this is actually a priority for them and how important is it to them?
You're exactly right. What's the level of importance?
Yeah. And we want to be a guide, not a gladiator, right? And I like this approach is we're not trying to cut down every objection that comes their way. Rather, we want to seek to understand it. We don't want to resolve this by logic because people will only do what they self-discover. So it's our job in the sales conversation to lead that conversation and help them self-discover it. And so to do so, I think there's a really simple objection handling framework. It's really 3 steps to it. The first step is to acknowledge the objection.
100%.
You can't be offended. You can't bite back. You can't be defensive. People go, oh, I think it's too expensive. You're not going to go, well, it's not that expensive. What do you mean it's too expensive, right? If you want to kill the sale, that's exactly how to do so. Take a step back and just acknowledge it. Look, I understand. I understand. 2 very powerful words.
I get it.
Yeah.
I hear you.
I get it. This is a considerable investment in your health and fitness, right? I understand it is. All right. Then you ask us a question. All right. So we acknowledge first, then we ask an exploratory, clarifying question. Do you mind sharing what is it expensive in relation to? What are you comparing it to?
Yeah.
The third part of this objection handling framework, so we have the acknowledge, we have the explore, the clarification. The third part is you have to lead the conversation. All right. And so leading the conversation means listening intently. It means isolating the objection, because there's 2 different types of objections. There's practical objections. They actually do need to ask their partner. There's emotional objections. That's a smokescreen. It's an emotional objection and they're not quite convinced. And so it's your job as a leader to ask the questions, empathetically listen, and uncover which one of those it is. Anything you want to add to that, Kev?
No, I think you're exactly right. But once again, it always comes back to making it about the prospect, asking those questions, going a little bit deeper, making them feel safe to actually explain what they're thinking as well. Once again, it's not up to us to convince them that this is the best solution for them. It's up to them to uncover that and come to that realization themselves. And that's only going to come through asking quality questions. And if you can ask quality questions in this situation, they're going to go, yeah, actually, yeah, you're right. This is really important. There are going to be potentially things which I have to give up. You know what? Maybe instead of 10 hours a week on Netflix, maybe I can do 7 hours a week on Netflix and commit 3 hours, to my training, to my coaching. I understand that this is going to be important, not only for me, but for my family. So if they can actually come to the realization that this is going to be the best thing for them, they'll convince themselves that, yeah, I want to work with you.
So much gold there. One of the words that you said is deeper, right? And I love the philosophy that the sales conversation begins at no, right? And when they give you a no or an objection, it's actually just permission at that point to go deeper.
To ask more questions.
Yeah.
Yeah, go a little bit deeper. And that's where that pro language of, okay, that's really interesting. Tell me a little bit more about that. And once again, when we ask questions like, tell me more about that, that actually, brings up those feelings. It's like, oh, okay, I've got to open up a little bit more here. And as we know, sales is emotional.
Absolutely.
People will buy with emotion and then they will like reject with logic. So to an extent, these conversations, they're emotional. It's an emotional purchase. And for a lot of people, particularly in the fitness industry as well, they've got to be vulnerable here. They may be overweight, they may be, injured, they may, they're going to have to make a decision, which is tough for them. And we've got to understand that, and we've got to be empathetic to that. It's not just like going into a shop and buying a pair of shoes. Like this is something we have to take really seriously. And that's where that the empathy, but there is also strength in empathy as well. There is.
I really love what you said. Our job is to find the truth. That is our mission. It's not to win the argument.
Yeah.
And we do so through those empathetic, curious questions. We acknowledge them and we just listen intently and we peel the layers back. Now, I want to get a little bit more tactical on this side. Let's talk about the best ways to handle the objections themselves. What is the very best way to handle an objection? Pre-handle it.
Pre-handle it. Exactly. Yeah. The earlier it comes up into the conversation, if it can be dealt with or uncovered there, the less likely it's going to come up at the end. So you can ask questions earlier in the conversation, like, is there anyone else who's going to be involved in the decision-making process here?
Yeah, the one I like is gain permission. So if we were to come up with a solution for you today to solve X, Y, and Z, repeat back their language, is there anyone that you need to gain permission from to move forward?
Yeah, that's great language. Yeah, gain permission, and yeah, depending on what the answer is, there will depend on which direction the rest of the conversation may go.
Yeah, and I do want to say this to people out there. If they go, yes, there is someone that I need to gain permission, that's okay. Sometimes people make decisions as a couple, as a unit. Quite often they want to do it for themselves and then they just want, out of respect, to run it past the other person before they make an official commitment itself.
Yep.
Now, you and I have had this many times throughout our career, and there's a couple of pieces of advice I'd like to share, particularly on the partner objection. Number one, if that's the case, just go, look, I completely and utterly respect that. I too like to make some decisions with my partner.
Yep.
What I would propose to do moving forward is that I just take down some details, we book in your first assessment, and if for whatever reason your partner's not supportive of this, then it's absolutely obligation free and we just, move on as friends.
Perfect.
Right?
Yeah. And the great thing about that is you're offering a solution, but it's going to allow them to move forward. And if the partner doesn't agree, okay, no problems.
Yeah.
We're all okay with that. So you can actually get them to essentially make a commitment. Now, this is what we're going to do. We're going to move forward. We'll book you in for your first, session. I'll introduce you to the coach. I'll give you access to our resources, our private Facebook group. And then if your partner still doesn't agree with that, if she doesn't want to, or he doesn't want to support you moving forward, that's absolutely fine. No problems.
We're coming to the tail end of the conversation now. So number one, I would say, is you want to pre-handle objections. So really bring them out in the conversation. The big three is always partner, price, and time. Yeah. So you want to bring those out. When are the best times for you to exercise? When it comes to price, have you got a budget in terms of what you want to invest in improving your health and fitness? So let's get them out of the way early. So that's number one. Number two is you want to have some go-to lines. Now, Kev and I have just dropped a few go-to lines on this podcast already. Utilize ours, right? But there's a host of go-to lines that you want to have so you don't get surprised or shocked when that objection hits. The last technique that I would also incorporate is use a little proof or examples. Look, you sound exactly like our client, Jenny. She also didn't know whether she was going to have the time. So what she decided to do was wake up 30 minutes before the kids got up. And as a result, Jenny's been with us for 12 months now. She's lost 15 kilos. It's truly remarkable. Does that sound like something you would like to accomplish and achieve?
Yeah. There's a couple of great things about that as well. I love commonality as well.
People will buy from people they have a commonality with.
Exactly. And once again, that develops that trust as well. If you can give an example of someone who is in exactly this situation and where they are now, it brings that commonality together. Yeah, we were working, Jenny came to us. She said exactly the same things, that you were talking about now. This is how we helped her. This is where she is now. We go back and we'll talk about, the Star Story solution probably at another time. But if you can find that commonality and then people say, oh, okay, right, now I get it. Yeah, that's a big one.
Listeners, people watching you now have an objection handling framework. You know how to navigate them so you can do so with ease, with confidence, with empathy, and with leadership. We've got a host of incredible resources to help you out on this. If you would like them, just comment objection handling matrix and we'll get that across to you so you feel wildly confident in every objection that comes your way. Kevin Frazier, thank you for your time today. It's been amazing as always.
Thank you so much, Dan.
Listeners, viewers, thank you for your time. We appreciate you. If you got value from today's episode, you know what to do. Give us a like, give us a share, subscribe so more people can derive value and enhance the impact, income, and freedom they derive from their business. Thank you so much.